Okay, let's open up our workbook, 2-page, 214. 214. $214 is where we're at. What you'll see is a table, and over here it's written one way, and then over on the right side, these right three boxes here, one of them is correct, one of them matches it, and it turns out this one does. So -3 minus 1 is the same as -3 and -1, because -1 and -1 are the same result. Okay, so let's see if you could do this quickly. You're just gonna, I'll do the first one with you, then you do the others. And simply this. So -2 minus 9. Let's see, so -2 minus 9, that's the same thing as adding -9. That's the same thing as, there it is. It's the same thing as adding -9. That's the same. These two are the same. Okay, you do the others real quick, just match it up, just see which one it is that matches up. Okay, number 10, 8 negatives and 4 negative, minus 4, that's -8 and -4, because minus is adding the same as adding a negative. These two match. The next one, oh, that just makes a big plus, doesn't it? 6 minus -2 is like 6 plus 2. Number 12, 5 minus -7 is like 5 plus 7. Right? The two negatives make like a big plus. That's the way I remember it. Number 13, -1, 1 negative, and then take away 3 negatives. That's a big plus. -1 plus 3. And number 14, that -3 plus 8. -3 plus 8 is right here. And those are the correct answers. If you got those correct, pat yourself on the back. Good job. Okay, let's go to the next page, please. 215. Just slide over. Let me work with me, book. Geez, you're a workbook. Work with me. All right, I got all this stuff on my desk. Ugh. Okay, here's how it works out. It says the platform on a diving board is 3 meters high. That's about 3 yards. It's like 9 feet. The action of a diver climbing up to the diving board platform and diving 1 meter below the water's surface are shown on the number line at the right. So this is the water surface. I'm going to do this right at 0. That's the water. The guy climbs up there, and so here he is right here. Help. Okay, so he's going to dive off here. He's going to hit the water, but then he's still going to go below the water 1 meter. Right? Okay, the diver's action can be represented by the subtraction equation. 3 minus 4 equals -1. Up 3, down 4, he's at -1. All right, now it says, write a related addition sentence. That's subtraction. How do you make it addition? Well, that would be 3, not -4, but plus -4 equals -1. You see that? I changed a subtraction problem into an adding problem. Hopefully you could see that. Number 2. It says use a number line to find 1 minus 5 and then write a related addition sentence for it. All right, we can do that. If you want to, we can just, instead of starting off at, okay, so let's say he goes to 1. I'm just going to start off here at 1. We can do it differently. And then he goes back 5. Now, if you want to, you can just use an arrow like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where it is, the addition sentence. All right, so this is 1 and then subtract 5. The difference, what's the difference between 1 minus 5? 4. Negative 4, excuse me. Okay, how would you write that to, excuse me, you can't see all that. How do you write that to an addition sentence? Okay, it was, right? It was 1 minus 5. But that's minus. How do you make that to an adding problem? 1 plus negative 5. That's how you make it to an adding problem. And that's what we like to do with subtraction. But some people will kind of cheat a little bit and they'll just go, okay, that's the same thing as 1 and negative 5. We'll just sneak a little plus in there. That's okay. Okay, turn the page, please. We're at 216. 216. And notice what they show you right there, what I've been telling you all along. 6 minus 7 is the same thing as 6 and negative 7. It's the same thing. Same result. Same result. It's not the same thing, but you get the same answer. So you can think of it that way. They call this additive inverse. You're adding the opposite. These two are additive inverses. You're adding the opposite. Okay, and the inverse is just another word for opposite. Let's go down to the very bottom. You have a couple examples there. Okay, see if you can answer A, B, and C as quickly as possible. A, B, and C at the very bottom. A, B, and C. Okay, so 6 minus 12, you remember that's like 6 and negative 12. 6 and 12 negatives. Subtract them. 12 take away 6 is 6. And there's more negative. It's negative 6. This one, they're both negative, right? That's negative 15. Negative 20 negatives and 15 negatives. Well, that's a lot of negatives right there. 20 and 50, that's 35 negatives. See, now if they're different, you subtract them. There's more negative, but you subtract. If they're the same, you just add them up. On letter C, they're both negative. Right? You have 22 negatives, and you have 26 negatives. Well, that's sloppy. Wow. So you have a bunch of negatives. 22 and 26 negatives, that's 48. 48 negatives. All right, that's it. Let's go to the next page, please. Slide over to 217. And here they want to show you when you subtract a negative, right? When you subtract a negative, like minus negative 7 is the same as plus 7. Because when I always show you that it's like a big plus. It's like adding. Take away cold is like adding hot. It's making it hot. So on letter D, E, and F, can you answer those questions, please? D, E, and F. D, E, and F. So letter D, this is like a big plus. 4 plus 12. Letter E, you have 15 negatives plus 5. That's a big plus. Plus 5. Okay, they're different, so you subtract. The answer is negative because there's more negative, right? 15 take away 5 is 10. The answer is negative 10. And the next one over here, that's like 18 plus 6, right? It's the same thing. And 18 plus 6 is 24. Positive 24. Okay, now the critical part. And this is when you put numbers in for variables. And it really gets tricky with the negative numbers. And so let me show you a shortcut to that. That will help you tremendously. And it's this. Let's say you have x minus y as your equation. And this is what you do in science a lot, and in mathematics and science, and all sorts of fields, technical fields. We have equations with variables, and you plug numbers in there. And you need to put -6 in there for x, and you put -5 in there for y. And so for the x and for the y, you put those in there. Now notice when you put them in there, when you put -5 in there for the y, you see how it's -6 minus -5. You see that minus minus? That's a big plus. So you have to be careful of that. Let me just do one with you. Let's go down to letter G. I'll do G, you do H and I. So on letter G, let's see. A is 5, B is -8, and C is -9. Now, so here's the letter B. I'm going to put parentheses around it. You plug in whatever B is, you plug it in there. -8. You put -8 in there. -8. If you want to leave the parentheses, that's fine. -8 minus 10. Hey, that's 8 negatives and 10 negatives. Right? Because isn't that the same thing as -8 and -10? Well, that's a lot of negatives. That's 18 negatives. Okay. Letter H. Put 5 in there for A, minus whatever B is. Five is A. B is -8, so I put a -8 in there. See that I still have the minus, because it's A minus B. So it's like you have a double negative there, right? And we know what that happens. That just makes a big plus. So on this one, C minus A, put the number for C, put it there. Put the number here for A, and now you can find your answer. Hopefully you can see that it's -9 and -5. 9 negatives and 5 negatives. That's a lot of negatives. 14 negatives. And that's how that works. Okay, turn the page, please. And you're going to go to 219. 219.